The Queen Elizabeth-class ships were probably the best battleships to be built for the Royal Navy. Laid down before the First World War, they survived to perform valuable service during the Second World War. The most important reason for their success and their long active life was that they were built for speed but without sacrificing armour. They were able to achieve this for two reasons. The first of these was that after it had been decided to adopt the 15-inch gun, it was realised that 8 of these guns in 4 turrets would still provide a heavier broadside than the 10 13.5-inch guns used in the Orion, King George V and Iron Duke classes. The space and weight freed up by removing the awkward amidships turret was used to provide more boilers, 24 instead of 18. The second key decision was to make the Queen Elizabeth-class ships oil burners instead of mixed oil and coal burners. Oil was far more efficient than coal, and so the 24 boilers of the Queen Elizabeth class produced 56,000 shaft horsepower compared to the 29,000 shaft horsepower of the Iron Dukes. The only drawback was that at the time Britain had no native source of oil and so relied on Middle Eastern supplies. In order to protect these supplies, Winston Churchill, then First Lord of the Admiralty, bought shares in the Iranian oil companies, beginning a long entanglement in the Persian Gulf region. It had originally been intended to build 3 Queen Elizabeth-class ships and 1 battlecruisers. With Lord Fisher retired, the battlecruiser had lost its main advocate and a 4th battleship was ordered instead. A 5th ship was then funded by the Federated Malay States and named Malaya in their honour. HMS Queen Elizabeth was built with these guns, but they were soon removed and replaced with a pair of guns above the main battery. This layout was used on the rest of the class, giving them 14 6-inch guns. HMS Queen Elizabeth was the first of the class to be commissioned in December 1914. It marks the importance attached to the naval attack on the Dardanelles that she was almost immediately sent there rather than joining the Grand Fleet. In May to June of 1916, she was undergoing a refit and so missed the Battle of Jutland. The other 4 ships of the class fought at Jutland as part of Admiral Beatty's battlecruiser squadron. Despite being the fastest battleships in the fleet, they were still slower than the battlecruisers, and when Beatty clashed with the German battlecruisers, they were trailing some miles behind. They arrived after the first of Beatty's battlecruisers had been destroyed, but in time to prevent the rest of his squadron from being badly mauled. They then trailed behind during the chase to the northwest, taking damage from the German battleships. Between the wars, all 5 members of the class were modernized at least once. In the first series of updates, all 5 ships had their 2 funnels channeled together into a single turret and were giving anti-torpedo bulges, which increased their beam from 90 feet 6 inches to 104 feet. Warspite was the first to be modified in 1924, followed by the Queen Elizabeth 1926, Malaya 1927, Valiant 1929, and Baham 1930. HMS Queen Elizabeth was commissioned in December 1914. She was then sent to the Dardanelles, where she fired 15-inch shells and 6-inch shells at the Turkish forts. In May 1915, she returned to the Grand Fleet, joining the 5th Battle Squadron. She was undergoing a refit during the Battle of Jutland. In 1917, Admiral Beatty selected her to act as his flagship because of her great speed. During the Second World War, she served as Admiral Andrew Cunningham's flagship in the Mediterranean. She was badly damaged by Italian human torpedoes on 19th December 1941 and was out of action until 1943. HMS Valiant served with the 5th Battle Squadron during the First World War. She fought at Jutland without suffering any damage. During the Second World War, she fought in the Mediterranean, taking part in the Battle of Matapan on March 28, 1941, and the evacuation of Crete during May 1941. Before being badly damaged by an Italian human torpedo on 19 December, she returned to take part in the invasion of Sicily and the Salerno landings. At the end of the war, she was serving with the British Eastern Fleet. HMS Warspite was a member of the 5th Battle Squadron during the First World War. She was badly damaged at Jutland, taking 15 hits from large shells. She was seen as an unlucky ship, having been involved in a series of collisions. During the Second World War, she rather redeemed her reputation. She took part in the naval attack at Narvik and sank 8 German destroyers during April 1940. She was then sent to the Mediterranean, fighting at Matapan during March 1941, Crete during May 1941, and during the invasion of Sicily. She also supported the D-Day landings. HMS Borum fought with the 5th Battle Squadron during the First World War. She was hit twice at Jutland, but didn't suffer major damage. During the Second World War, she took part in the attack on Dakar during September 1940, fought at Matapan during March 1941, and Crete during May 1940. On November 25, 1941, she was hit by 3 torpedoes from U-311. In a few minutes, she capsized, then exploded. HMS Malaya also served in the 5th Battle Squadron during the First World War, fighting at Jutland. During the Second World War, she was based in the Mediterranean, taking part in the Battle of Calabria during June 1914, before joining Force H based at Gibraltar, from where she carried out operations in the Western Mediterranean.
Fighter airborne. Enemy battleship sighted. Fighters returning to ship. Fire! Problem solved, sir. Team has taken the lead.
cruiser detected. Enemy destroyer sighted.
Fighter returning to ship.
Enemy cruiser sighted.
Our team has taken the lead. Torpedoes direct front. Target penetrated. Fire. Problem solved, sir.
We destroyed an enemy cruiser.